to have with us the amazing director, Paolo Sorrentino. And we have Lilia Pino-Bruin, who is his interpreter. Without him, we'd not be doing this probably.
Thank you very much.
Grazie mille per questa film così bella.
I am very happy to stay here because before pandemic I lived here in Los Feliz for 9 months. And this was the cinema where I come very often to see movies. So I am very I feel emotional to stay here. Yeah, to have my movie here. Yeah.
Oh, well, it's wonderful to have you here. And this is such a deeply intimate film for you. And you know, you said, I think I read somewhere that you said this is a film about sensibility. And I wondered, when did you know that you were ready to tell your story? Because this is based on your life.
No, I was never ready to tell this story. So I decided to do this movie. I don't know why. But I was not ready. I was not ready. But yeah, after 55 years since these things of my life, I thought there was the right distance in order to try to make this kind of movie. But I don't know if I am ready to do, if I was ready, but I did it. Yeah.
You were ready to watch it. That's nice. So while The Great Beauty is a tribute to Rome, this feels like a tribute to Naples, Napoli, and of course to your formative years and to the 80s and everything. Would you call this the portrait of the artist as a young man? Is that?
I don't know. It's different. The Great Beauty is a movie about Rome. This is a movie about my adolescence, and it's set in Naples. I will do for sure a movie in Naples like The Great Beauty, but I will do in the future.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not this movie. Yeah.
So in telling this personal story, you had to find the perfect Fabietto. And I'm told that you auditioned hundreds of actors before casting Filippo Scotti. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what you saw in Filippo that made you know he was going to be the perfect Fabietto?
No, I found a good actor. It's the most important thing. But he was enough shy and at disease. Ill at ease, like I was when I was 17, 18 years old. And this is the reason why I got him. Yeah. But he's a good actor. That was the most important thing.
So how did the process of talking to or auditioning hundreds of others go? Was there anyone else that came close, or did you look at Filippo and go, has to be him?
I did many auditions to him because, of course, he's young. He never played the main character in a movie, so I did many auditions. I did all the scenes of the movie for several days, just to figure out if he was able to put in his shoulder the main character. Yes, that was the process. But he was the best actor.
He was so good.
Among the old actors that I saw. Yeah.
And he'd never been in a film before?
He just shot a TV series, yes, for Netflix. Another one, yeah.
Wow. So in addition to, the story of your family, the film also explores your growing passion to become a filmmaker, of course, as a teenager. And obviously Antonio Capuano was hugely important to you, for reasons in the film. And then sometimes I've heard you compared to Fellini as well. Could you tell us a little bit about your other filmmaking influences? Who has most influenced you?
Martin Scorsese is the most important influence for me, Fellini, and many Italian directors that made comedies in the 60s and in the 70s. Ettore Scola, Dino Risi, other directors. Then I am a big fan of some movies, not necessarily directors.
What movies are you big fan?
I am a big fan of a movie like Ice Storm of Ang Lee.
Oh, I love that movie too, yeah.
I am a big fan of Jackie Brown, of A Serious Man of Coen Brothers, Fargo of Coen Brothers. I am a big fan of some movies of François Truffaut. Yes. And now I don't remember.
And Once Upon a Time in America?
Once Upon a Time in America, yes. It's all life that I watch movies, so now I don't remember all the movies.
So I'd love to know more about the arrival of Diego Maradona, because what was it about him that inspired Naples so much? I mean, obviously he's an amazing player, the best soccer player, football player, but what was it specifically about him coming at that time, do you think, that made it so special?
When Maradona arrived in Naples, Naples was a city, a dark city. It was a city that had many problems about criminal war between among several gangs. A few years before Maradona arrived, there was an earthquake, so there was many economic problems in Naples. So Naples was pretty devastated, and the arrival of Maradona was a sort of light at suddenly. So he was not important only because he was a great player, but he was a sort of a hope for the city. Then my city loves saints that has che sono santi profani, saints that are close to profane. And Maradona was perfect to play this role of a saint that was profane. Yeah.
Santo Diego. So are you still a football fan? Are you still a football fan now? So, are you still a fan of football?
Oh yeah. I spent half of my life doing movies, half of my life watching football. Very predictable.
There was a documentary on Diego Maradona that came out. Did you see that?
It's of course. Yeah. It's a very good documentary.
It was,
it was great.
For those of us who didn't even know who he was, didn't follow it. And I know he holds a very special place, obviously, in your heart, for saving you, in a sense.
Yes, as the movie said. It was very important.
We have a limited amount of time, so I think I'm going to open it up also to the audience, because I'm sure you have questions right here. Yes.
Mr. Sorrentino, one quick question. I was wondering about your writing process as a director, whether it was for this film. One of the things I liked the most was the relationship with the lead actor and the smuggler. They had a it was very unique, the way they worked together, and just the way you write and kind of how that, I don't know.
I don't know, it's almost all true. So I wrote true things about my life in Naples when I was 17, 18 years old. And I don't know how to answer, because I wrote things that I knew. I just did a structure that was split in two parts. The first part was full of joy and of happiness, and the second part is completely the opposite, and how the life sometimes works. And when you are 18, you have to say goodbye to many things, to the parents, to the family, to the school, to the city. And so this is the movies, the structure of movies like a long goodbye to everything. Yeah. About the smuggler, I don't know. I think it works because the actor that played the smuggler is not an actor. He's very real guy, and so he was very intense. I suppose. I think. I hope. Yeah.
Yes, over there.
I had a question specifically about the line in the film that Paolo says when he says your parents didn't leave you alone, they abandoned you. I was just very curious about the distinction that you saw and the difference between those two ideas, and maybe the translation is messing me up, but I was fascinated by that particular line.
So the translation is good. It's something that a friend of mine said, a friend of mine that was used to go to the therapy. She said, the therapist, she said me that probably in my case I perceived that they abandoned me because they disappeared without saying goodbye. And so in conscious way, they abandoned me, the parents. And this is something that I feel that's real. In fact, one of my recurrent dreams is that my parents are alive, and I don't want to go to visit them. So it's something maybe that works very well with the idea of the abandonment.
As a recurring dream?
Yeah.
There was a line that I thought was really interesting where in the movie, Fellini's quote is saying, films are a distraction from reality.
Yeah.
Do you think that's true?
I think it's true because I said, I pretend that Fellini...
Like that. Like Zeffirelli. Yes.
How big a role did seeing the Fellini auditions play in you wanting to become a director?
Not too much, because I did a fake about the chronology. I went to see the audition of my brother, but I was very young. I was 12 years old, because it was for a movie. So it was not the most important thing that happened in my life about the movies. For me, it was more important to start to watch some movies when I was young, when I was at home, bored and depressed, and suddenly I started to watch movies every day, and that was important for me in order to decide to become a director. Yes.
Yes, right there.
Hey Paolo, a question from Napolitan. Do you see you coming back here? You said that you were living here and at some point, and then from Napoli to Rome. Is this kind of a next stop that happens usually?
For me to come to Los Angeles? I hope so, because I love to stay here. Yes, so I hope so to come. Yeah, before then. Yeah. If I find a movie, because the city is pretty expensive.
Yes, right there.
Hello? Huge fan. I just want to know, what advice would you give to upcoming filmmakers, young filmmakers?
The same advice that the brother say, to have perseverance. Perseverance, yes, because when I was young, since 20 until 30 years old, everybody told me no. Whatever I wrote, whatever I was, I did short movies, and I brought short movies to the festival, and they said no, we don't want. The script, same thing. So many times I was saying to myself, okay, I give up, it's not for me. But then I insisted to write and to try to do movies. And suddenly I found my voice. Is it correct? Yeah. So I think that a young filmmaker should insist until he will find his voice and you recognize your voice. Yeah.
Thank you.
And if this festival's regretted now.
No, they were right. Because when I was 24, 25, I wrote bad things. They were completely right.
So perseverance. Yes, right here.
I just wanted to tell you how enjoyable this was. It was nice to see a different side to your art and what you have to say. Your use of music in all of your films, especially in Young Pope, of course, is just incredible. And I have to ask because I'm so curious. You said you had another idea for another season, and I wonder if it's going to come to pass that there will be another season, and if not, would you share your idea with us?
I had an idea, but I told to HBO, and they looked at me like I was crazy. So I understood that the answer was no. There was a big, a long silence in the room. I said, okay, I will see in another life. Excuse
Can
me?
you tell us the idea? How you would have envisioned?
The idea was that the most important characters in the movie played different roles. So the idea was that the Pope, Jude Law, was 18 years old. He was not the Pope, he was a student before becoming a priest. Because in the Young Pope, he tells that he spent 1 week in LA to play holiday. He says. So I proposed to HBO to tell that week when the young Pope, when he was 18 years old, he spent his holiday in the Big Sur. Big Sur. And he meets all the characters of the young Pope, but everybody has a different role. So John Malkovich was a surfer. Yeah, that was the idea. Cécile de France had a small French restaurant, and but they said, okay, that we are not interested. Because I was tired to do again the Vatican, I did everything. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
I have a question. Your movies are very visual, and I'm wondering what's your process when you're shot listing? You're coming up with ideas on how the movie's going to look and how you're going to tell stories with the camera.
I don't know. It's not the first time that I received this question, and I don't know the answer. I really don't know. At any rate, everything is written in the script. I don't improvise anything. I don't invent. No, last movies I am improvising because I feel more comfortable with this work. But for many movies, I wrote everything.
So in your script, you would write
Yes.
what
Yes.
the shot would be.
Yeah. I don't remember which director said, I think that I believe that's true, that a director is somebody that is able to see the movie before that the movie is done, to see everything. It's the only quality that a director should have. So I see the movie before shooting the movie. Yeah.
So how closely is Daria and Melanie always your cinematographer, right? So how closely do you work with her in terms of...
A lot, because I know her since the beginning. We were very young. She was a camera assistant and I was a director assistant many years ago. She did with me the camera operator for many movies, and so we work very close. We are very close each other.
Kind of understand each other.
Yeah, we don't speak a lot, but we understand very well each other. Then Daria comes from Naples. She belongs to a family very similar to my family, so she knows very well what I was telling in this movie, and it was pretty easy for her to understand what she had to do. Yeah.
I wondered about the production designer too, Carmine
Guarino, yeah.
Because it has such a very specific look, your film, and recreating Naples in the 80s.
Yeah, no, he's very good, and luckily I have a good memory of my teenage, because he's younger than me, so some things he didn't know. But I have a good memory, and then I brought some objects from my house that survived in the years. So we did a very specific work. Then I shot in an apartment that's exactly like my apartment. It's a building. It's the fourth floor. I was at the fifth. I shot in the fourth floor, and the house was exactly like my house when I was young, because the house where I shot belonged to an old lady that never changed anything. Yeah. So it was surprising for me. I opened the door and I went inside my house when I was 8 years old. Yeah.
Did it take you back emotionally to?
Yeah. It was there. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah.
Let's see, I think we have time for one more question. Yes, right back there.
Hi, I was just curious about your pre-production process with the actors and how much of that time is dedicated to rehearsals, if any, versus the balance with just getting to know those people.
I never do rehearsals. I don't like to do rehearsals. Because I like when I go to shoot on the set to be surprised by the actors. If I do rehearsals, then I already know what they are going to do, so I prefer to not do rehearsals. And how I work with actors, I don't know. The only thing that I know about the actors explain me. Sidney Lumet wrote a book about what it means to be a director. And he wrote the most important thing that I understood about the actors. He said, never say to the actor more than 5 things.
Really?
Yeah.
Sidney Lumet said that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because if you say 6 things, they forget. They do. Yeah. So Sidney Lumet worked with actors better than actors I work, so I say 3 things.
So do you spend a lot of time getting to know them as people? Do you kind of hang out with them, as it were, beforehand, or is it kind of...
No, I think, no, I don't spend a lot of time. No, I just believe that, in my experience, that's important for the actors to build a good environment for them, that they feel that they are not stressed, that they are not under pressure. And so, in my experience, if you build a good environment, and they work well. But I don't say many things. I try to be more specific in script, so they can read everything about the character in the script. And then I think that the good actors are screenwriters about the character that they are playing. So I like that the actors add things to the character, because I am pretty sure that a good actor knows the character better than me, that I wrote the character. Yeah.
Robert Altman used to say that he would just get out of the way of the actors and let them, you know, we just pick good actors and then let God out of their way.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you hope audiences will take away from your film?
I would love that, and I think that it's happening, because I am hearing some reactions about the movie. I hope that above all young people that go to see the movie that understand that there is always an idea of a future. Because I remember when I was 17, 18 years old, and I think that it would be something very common for the people of that age, that sometimes you are not able to see the future. You believe that the future is impossible. And so I would love that this movie can help to understand that there is always a possibility of a future, and you have just to wait, to be patient, and the future arrives for everybody. I love to think this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful note to end on. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Because I know that you are busy and you have to go to it, but the movie after this, not now. Okay, I can speak about the movie.
In a little bit. Later. There's new people coming in. I think there's.
There is new people. Okay, so thank you very much.